Howdy folks, got another clean water instructional video. Today we're going to be replacing injectors. You could have an air valve for sulfur or iron and it might need an injector replacement, or more traditionally you've got a softener or a green sand system. You could also have a Pro-Ox with a side tank as far as that goes. I'm going to show it on this valve, so I'm only going to work on one at a time here. And so the first thing you're going to do is get a screwdriver or a nut driver and remove these two screws. And you're going to remove the cap, and there's an O-ring, and the O-ring is usually going to stick to the cap because you're going to have a lot of dirt and debris. That's why you're doing the whole point. You have the O-ring there, and then you're going to have the screen, which in my case is brand new and white. Yours won't be. You're going to pull it out with a pair of pliers. You can clean it with a toothbrush, soak it in some vinegar, soak it in some mild chlorine bleach solution, which is what you're going to do to the injector in a second. One way or another, get that as clean as you can. You've got the injector right here. Injectors come in blue with this little black piece. They come in white with that little black piece. They also come in white or blue without the little black piece on there. So you can basically have 4 different styles of injector, but they're all basically identical. You're going to get 2 butter knives or 2 small screwdrivers like I have. There's a little ridge right there you'll see. You'll use it to pry up and pop out and get the thing loose. Now you'll be able to pull out the injector for the 5900. Again, it could be white or blue, and it could or could not have the little black piece on it. This whole piece, you're not going to take it apart. The whole piece, if you're hoping to clean it, if you haven't cleaned it before, they'll usually take cleaning once and then they'll still work again. Take the whole thing. Same thing with your, if you decide to soak that instead of using a toothbrush, dump this thing in a glass full of a couple of teaspoons of bleach and some water or some hydrogen peroxide or some white vinegar. Anything that's got a low pH will dissolve all the iron rust that's accumulated in it. Basically, there's a bigger hole and a little tiny hole. The little tiny hole has to be clear, otherwise the thing isn't going to work, and you basically need to dissolve it away with some acidic liquid. So that's how you're going to do that. Once you have the thing, whether you're taking an old one out and replacing it, or you're just taking an old one out, throwing it away, and installing a new one, if you lose the orientation and you don't have the cross, which lets you know that that's on top, if you have one that does not have the cross, then pay attention to the 2 O-rings. One is bigger, larger diameter than the other. The smaller of the 2 O-rings is the one that's going to go back in first, and you put it in there and then you press it all the way home. Now it's installed. Don't forget to put your screen back in. The screen is, I put it in the wrong way there, put it in the right way, only goes in one way. You get your screen back in, and then you get your O-ring, and you set your O-ring right there real carefully. The cap has this funny little thing at the bottom of it that's orientated. It goes on the bottom, not on the top, and you can kind of see it matches up with that one. You put that back on, and of course you'll screw it back in. Now on a softener or a green sand or a Pro-Ox with a side tank, what you want to do now is once you got it all screwed back together, you reapply your water, open up your bypass assemblies, and then advance the valve into a backwash, advance it to the second step, which is the brine draw, and at that point when you put your finger over your fitting here, your brass fitting, then you should feel suction, then you know you're done, you can hook your tubing back up. Conversely, on the air valve, you would just go ahead and put the thing in, and when it gets to the air draw cycle, you'd put your finger over that and see that it's drawing air or not. And that's how you know you got a successful replacement of your injector valve. That's it, folks. Thanks.